it's Liv and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a video that I have looked forward to filming for a very long time now, literally a year. So today I want to talk about the PopSugar reading challenge, which is a challenge of 40 regular prompts and 10 advanced prompts to take place over the course of one full calendar year. Last year I participated in the 2019 challenge, and this year I am participating in the 2020 challenge, which I will have linked down below if you'd like to check it out. All the information will be down there. But when I started the 2019 challenge last year, I kind of decided that I wanted to do like a wrap-up video afterwards to talk about like what I thought about it, all the books I read. I am going to try really hard not to make this video be 10,000 years long. So I just quickly want to say that I had a lot of fun doing this challenge. I really got to push myself as a reader. And so for the wrap-up, I'm going to try to make this as quick as I possibly can because there are 50 books. So I'm just simply going to say the prompt, what book I read, and my rating out of 5 stars. So without further ado, let's just dive right in. So the first prompt was a book becoming a movie in 2019, and for that I read 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 2 was a book that makes you nostalgic, and I read Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer, which I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. Number 3 was a book written by a musician, and I read Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 4 was a book you think should be turned into a movie, and I read Nevermore by Jessica Townsend, which I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. This was amazing. Number 5 was a book with at least 1 million reviews on Goodreads, and for that I read Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling, which of course got 5 out of 5 stars. Number 6 was a book with a plant in the title or on the cover, and for this I read Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare with the little florals on her dress, and for this I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 7 was a reread of a favorite book, and for that I read The Last Hero by Rick Riordan, which of course also got a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 8 was a book about a hobby, and for that I read The Tasty Ultimate Cookbook and completely marked it up. Give it a 5 out of 5 stars because these recipes are delicious. Book number 9 was a book that you meant to read in 2018, and for that I read Keeper of the Last Cities by Shayna Messenger, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Number 10 was a hard one, but it is a book with the words pop, sugar, or challenge in the title, and for that I read Hop on Pop by Dr. Seuss, which is a childhood favorite and got 5 out of 5 stars. Number 11 was a book with an item of clothing or an accessory on the cover, and for that I read Three Dark Crowns by Kendra Blake, which got a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 12 was a book inspired by mythology or folklore, and I had to read a Rick Riordan book for this, so I read Son of Neptune, which I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 13 is a work that was published posthumously or after the author passed, and for that I read a collection of poems by Emily Dickinson, which I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. Number 14 is a book that you see someone reading on TV or in a movie, and I read The Fault in Our Stars by John Green for this lovely scene here from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and that book got a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 15 is a retelling of a classic, and for that I read Geekerella by Ashley Poston, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 16 was a book with a question in the title, and again this is one that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, so I read Are You My Mother by Dr. Seuss, which of course got a 5 out of 5 stars. I am Dr. Seuss trash. Number 17 was a book that was set on a college or university campus, and for that I read Again But Better by Christine Riccio, and I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. Number 18 was all about a character that has a superpower, and for that I read House of Hades, also by Rick Riordan, which also got a 5 out of 5 stars. And number 19, keeping with the theme, was a book told from multiple character perspectives, and for that I read The Mark of Athena. Again, Rick Riordan, also got a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 20 was a book set in space, and for that I read The 100 by Cass Morgan, which I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. Number 21 was a book written by 2 female authors, and for that I read Zenith by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Number 22 is a book that contains the words salty, sweet, bitter, or spicy in the title, and for that I kind of took the liberty, and it was Salt to the Sea by Ruth Pettis, which got a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 23 is a book set in Scandinavia, and I kind of took liberty on this one also, but it is Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, The Sword of Summer, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Took the liberty because it's set in like a Scandinavian heaven, kind of, like an afterlife, but not necessarily Scandinavia, but this was the one. Number 24 is a book that takes place over the course of a single day, and for this I read They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 25 was a debut novel, and I read The Thief by Megan Wallen Turner, which I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. Number 26 was a book that was published in 2019, and for this I read The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. So if you can't tell, this was a great year for me to read some Rick Riordan stuff, because number 27 is a book that features an extinct or imaginary creature, and for that I read The Blood of Olympus, which got a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 28 is a book recommended by a celebrity you admire, and for this I read The Inquisition by Taryn Mathereau, as recommended by Sasha Alsberg, and I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 29 was a book with love in the title, and for this I read P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 30 was a book featuring an amateur detective, and for that I read Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 31 was a book about a family, and for that I read Sing Unburied Sing by Jasmine Ward, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 32 was a book written by an author from Asia, Africa, or South America, and for that I read the first volume in the My Hero Academia series, which I gave a 2 out of 5 stars. Number 33 was a book with a zodiac or astrology term in the title, and for that I read Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which I gave a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Number 34 was a book that includes a wedding, and for that I read Save the Date by Morgan Matson, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 35 is a book written by an author whose first and last names both start with the same letter, and for this I read The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 36 was a ghost story, and interestingly enough I chose Two Dark Reigns by Kendar Blake, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 37 was a book with a 2-word title, and for that I read Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 38 was a novel based on a true story, and for that I read Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 39 was a book revolving around a puzzle or game, and for that I chose Caraval by Stephanie Garber, which I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. The last prompt from the regular section, which is number 40, was to fulfill a prompt from a past PopSugar reading challenge. So I fulfilled a prompt from 2018, which is to read a bestseller from the year you graduated high school, and I graduated in 2016. So for this I read The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Number 41 was to read a cli-fi climate fiction book, and for this I read Fox 8 by George Saunders, which I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 42 was a choose your own adventure book, and for this I read Romeo and or Juliet by Ryan North, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 43 was to read an own voices book, and for this I read The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli, which I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 44 was to read a book during the season it was set in, and for this I read One Dark Throne by Kendar Blake, which I read in the fall, and I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. Number 45 was to read a lit RPG book, and for this I read The Eye of Minds by James Dashner, which I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. Number 46 was a book with no chapters or really unconventional chapter headings, and had to include the last book in this series. I read Five Dark Fates by Kendar Blake. Let me see if I can find the chapter headings. Yeah, they all start with the location name and not the chapter number, which I thought was really interesting, but I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. And this is another one that I kind of stretched just a little bit to make it fit, but it was 47 and 48, and it was 2 books that share the same title. And for this I read Legend by Stephanie Garber, which I gave a 5 out of 5 stars, and I also read Legend by Marie Lu, which I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. Number 49 was a book that inspired a common phrase or idiom, and for this I read The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. May the odds be ever in your favor, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And number 50 was a book set in an abbey, cloister, monastery, vicarage, or convent, and to wrap up this whole video, I read Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because the Shadowhunters use churches, and the Institute is technically a church, so I thought this would be a perfect one for the prompt. And after 5 million years, and probably the 5 more years this is going to take to edit, we have come to the end of this video. So there you have it, guys. That was 50 of the 54 books I read throughout the year of 2019 to fulfill the 2019 PopSugar Reading Challenge. I set this goal for myself at the beginning of last year. I was like, hey, 50 books, 50 prompts, that sounds like fun. Like, you could really push yourself as a reader, and I did. I had so much fun doing this, and I read some books that I never thought I would enjoy, but really did end up enjoying, so I think it was successful. If you would like more information on the PopSugar Reading Challenge, I will link the 2020 prompts down below. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if any of your faves were on this list, or what was your favorite prompt. I really want to know. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, you can do so by hitting that button down below and clicking that bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video, because I do upload every Monday and every Thursday on this channel. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!